welcome once again to another exciting podcast of Between the Pipes with myself, Chad Schneider, and my co-host, Cam.
How's it going, Chad?
Good. Yourself? How's it going there? It was extremely cold here last week.
It was cold and snowy today. We got about 30 centimeters. Barely made it over the driveway. My driveway is about a kilometer long. It sucked, but at least the good news is our stay-at-home order was lifted, so we can get back to playing Broomball. Thank goodness.
Well, lucky you guys. Our season's done, but it was really cold here last week. It was extreme cold warnings for an entire week. Nobody did anything. I didn't leave the house at all. It was unreal. Work was not good either. We were wrecking equipment, and so. But thank goodness that's over and we're moving forward. So it was a lot nicer today, and it looks like it's going to pick up a lot nicer for the week.
Awesome.
Anyhow, so coming at you live here from the goal line, and our podcast topic for tonight, for some of us, they were our glory days in the sport. The days that you could probably play 4 games in a day. We've even done 8 in a day on an Ironman tournament type thing, and still not be sore the next day. I was very fortunate to be in net, so if I had a really good team in front of me, I didn't have to move that much. So that was really good. The time in your Broomball career when you grew the most as a player, but still had a lot to learn, right? So we're talking about juveniles, right? So the glory years, like growing up, learning the sport, having fun, it didn't matter, give or go. So we will be speaking with 2 young Broomball players today, and they're just finishing off their juvenile careers and moving into senior. Hopefully moving into senior. I hope they are. I know in Saskatchewan here, we tend to have a little bit of issue with that. Once juvenile players go and they go off to school, they tend to shutter down and focus on some other things. But hopefully these 2 are exuberant enough to continue on and carry on, and things are going to be great.
Yeah, let's hope this whole COVID thing hasn't deterred them from leaving the sport. But we've got 2 great players here. I've had the pleasure of coaching against one of them. That would be Maddie Valad. She plays forward for the Palmerston Terminators. She's been playing Broomball for 13 years, and at the 2019 Nationals, her team took home gold. She's also been playing as a pickup in the senior level for a couple of years now. From the other side of Canada, we got Zach Zerardi, and he's been playing Broomball since he was 14 in St. Cloud, Manitoba. He's been on the Manitoba team since 2016. He's a defenseman and was the captain of his team. So let's bring him in here and see what they got to say to us. All right, welcome, kids.
We're allowed to say that because we're a lot older. So thank you for joining us today on our podcast. Today is about juveniles. We understand that you guys are just getting out of your juvenile careers and hopefully transitioning to senior and not going to give up the beautiful sport, but each to their own, I guess. So the way this is going to work, we're going to ask you guys a series of questions. I'll start asking either one of you, and then the other one needs to follow suit and answer right after. So as we usually do, ladies first. So here we go. Question 1. Maddie, how did you start playing Broomball? And tell us a little bit about your background in the sport, who got you started, why you got started, all that fun stuff.
All right, so I've been playing for 13 years now. I started when I was 7 years old, and I went on the ice, and the coach told me I was too young and I wasn't going to get to play anytime. So I quit, and I said, that's it, I'm done. So then I came back when I was 8. It didn't last very long. I didn't quit for very long. So I came back when I was 8, and I've been playing ever since. I've grown up in a family of Broomball. I mean, my aunts and uncles play it, my cousins play it. So I kind of was forced into it. And like my love for Broomball keeps growing. I've played for Mildmay for many years, as long as I can remember. I started in Pee Wee and Mildmay. my first year of Juvenile, I switched to Palmerston. One of a coach that I'd always looked up to, it was his last year. So I decided to go play with him for 1 year. And then I just kind of stuck it out in Palmerston for the last 4 years. And that's kind of how I got started on Broomball. I mean, my parents did buy hockey stuff thinking I was going to play hockey, and they brought it home and set it on the table. And I said, nah, I'm playing Broomball. So that's how I started on Broomball. Yeah.
It's always a great day when you can steal a hockey player away to Broomball, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Although we do like to share. I wish we had more sharing going involved. I wish people would do both sports. I think there's room to do both hockey and Broomball and not just focus on hockey, but some coaches are a little selfish that way.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I could skate and then I'd be able to play hockey, but I'll stick to the Broomball shoes for now.
Right on. Right on. All right, Nick, how about yourself?
Well, basically, for me, you guys are talking to me, right?
Yeah, Zach, Nick, whatever.
Okay, yeah, it's just clarifying. Basically, I started when I was about 13 or 14. I had never heard of this sport, never knew about it. I grew up in St. Claude my entire life. Never heard of it, never played it until about I was 13 or 14. I was about grade 8, and my buddies were joining. They were going to play, and they were telling me about it, and I was like, oh, well, I'll come out next time and I'll try it. So we all went out and we played it, and basically I kind of joined into it ever since. And I played around for 2 years, and then started playing with the actual men's or the juvenile players, and I've been part of it ever since.
Awesome. So being that you guys have been playing Juvenile for a few years, how do you feel that you don't get to play in your last year? I don't mean to throw salt in the wound, but I mean, my last year Juvenile was my favorite year. I can't imagine how you guys must feel. Can you try to shed some light on that? We'll start with you again, Maddie.
You know, it is kind of upsetting that I didn't get to play my last year, but I understand where it's coming from. I said, like, if you let the last years from this year play now, then are you going to extend the other people so that they get their 4 years in Juvenile? So I see where it's coming from, and I understand why they had to cancel it, but it does suck. But at least one thing is I can say I left Juvenile as a national champ. So good thing I didn't go back and wreck that one. So that's one positive from it. But I was looking forward to spending another year playing. And I mean, we practiced for so long before and leading up, and then all of a sudden it got canceled. So kind of sucks a little bit, but.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I coached Juvenile, and we had boys and girls, and we had dry land practices going as well as games and on ice practices every week. It was a lot of my time invested. Just to have it canceled at the last minute really sucked. Zach, do you feel you're missing out on your last year and some good memories and stuff?
I think so, very much. It does suck when you think about any kind of sport, and when you move up from the juvenile to the senior level. Your last year of juvenile, you're supposed to be the top dog who everybody looks up to, and you're supposed to kind of generalize and help teach the rest of the team and make it a team. And it sucks that we didn't get to do that and actually play out our last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's right, and like Cam was saying before, the last year of juveniles is your fun year, right? Like lots of stuff going on, team leader, lead your team as best you can, right? And hopefully for the victory. So it is unfortunate with this COVID situation, but hopefully, with the vaccines coming, we can put it all behind us and we can move forward. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully you guys stick with it and play some seniors. So talking about nationals and everything else, I don't know, Zach and Maddie, you guys have been to nationals a few times now, I would assume. So in your opinion, Zach, I'm going to start with you this time around. Which city in Canada do you think is most likely, suited installation wise, like for rinks and accommodations, all that, to host the national championships? And I guess you can talk to how many you've been at and which destination was your favorite that you were at.
So I think out of the few that I've been to, I think the two that I would rate were the best experiences and best places to host were probably Estevan and Owen Sound. Estevan and both Owen Sound had beautiful new rinks and had beautiful places to stay and places to go. So it was really nice that way.
Awesome.
Maddie, do you concur?
Maddie?
I'm gonna have to agree with Zach on that one. I mean, I've been to Manitoba. I was in Arnprior, Saskatchewan, Owen Sound, and then Quebec for the last one. But I'm gonna have to agree with him and say that Owen Sound was the best, although it was like literally in my backyard. I mean, Owen Sound's like an hour from here, but their Rogers broadcasting was pretty nice. I will have to admit that was the best broadcasting that Broomball's had in a really long time. I mean, we don't get instant playbacks very often, but when we do, they're pretty exciting. So I'm gonna have to say that was one of my favorites. And I mean, the places there, they had lots of like places for people to eat, and it was a good place.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I went to a lot of places in Canada, so it's nice to see different parts of Canada, and the way every city hosts is always different. So it's going to be weird to see what's going on after COVID, to see which places in Canada will actually be allowed to host. Maybe only Ontario will be open next year, or hopefully something is. But how do you think when that time comes, the board of directors at Broomball Canada should handle the situation of canceling 2 nationals in a row? Should they let the players that aged out from 2020 play, or just from 2021, or none of them? I mean, it's gonna be hard. This is a situation that nobody's seen before. I know at the beginning of this year, when they weren't sure when COVID was going to go away, when COVID first hit, they thought, okay, maybe the kids will come back. We won't have our qualifiers. We'll just do our nationals. But then this year got canceled as well. So everything's up in the air. We haven't heard. We technically worked for Broomball Canada, but nobody has said anything to us. I was the co-chair on the host committee for the one that got canceled, and nobody has any answers for us. So what do you guys, as your last year players, what do you guys think they should do? What is fair? Maddie, we'll start with you.
Okay, yeah, I kind of touched on this before. Like it's a hard decision to make. I mean, I would like to play my last year, but I get what they're saying. If you let, like, say me as a last year player, if you let me play, are you going to let the people that is their last year play another year because they missed out, like to have their 4 years in total? So like it is a hard decision. I'm just hoping that people will still come back, even though they've been off for a couple of years, and they, they might not find Broomball as interesting anymore. I hope that they still come back, and we have all the teams to play as I'm going into senior, that people, go into those teams, and then we have more competition.
Mm-hmm. Zach, what do you think? Should you come back for another year or retire? Or?
I would love to come back for another year, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I get both points. Yes, I think everybody who is losing their last year, 2020 and 2021, I think is very unfortunate. And I think pretty much all of the players would love to go and finish their last year. But I also get why they would just cut it off there, because there has to be a line drawn, right? So, I mean, if you let us play another year, in, for instance, now you're taking away the next 2 years of the new people that would be in with all the seniors out.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it may come down to numbers too. Like if we see a drop off in players, maybe the provinces will get together and say, hey, listen, we didn't have as many come back, as many new players. Maybe they will add an extra year just because we lost people. Who knows what's going to happen?
it's
weird
it's a tough
situation.
call, you know, like, I mean, COVID-19 was an unforeseen pandemic that, you know, no one can control, and it was out of everyone's hands. And I mean, we have to make the best decisions going forward, right? So it's tough to say, like, if it's like you guys said, if you let you guys come in and go again, then where do you draw that line? It affected everyone equally, not just broomball, but all sports. So, I mean, everyone's kind of in the same boat. So it is a shitty deal. It's unfortunate, but I mean, it is what we're living in, right? So we can only put our best foot forward, and hopefully people carry on with the sport and we can continue to make it grow. So with that being said, and on to the next question here. Now, Maddie, you said, you know, you started at a young age, 7 and then 8. Who was your broomball role model growing up, and or which player did you look up to when you were younger and wanted to be just like them?
So growing up, I always looked up to Christine Fortney. She coached me in Pee Wee and Bantam, midget, juvenile. She coached me to the victory in 2019. And I always had said that I wanted to play with OSS on her line, and I wanted to be her centerman and stuff. So I was lucky enough in 2018, I went to Worlds with her, and I've been lucky enough that I got to play with her. But throughout my childhood, I wanted to be just like her and shoot just like her and everything. She was my role model.
Right on. And now, Zach, I know you said that you didn't even know what the sport was till you were like 13, 14. But obviously you start out, right, and you start playing in St. Claude in the old barn there, and you have older players you're playing against and stuff. Was there anyone that you were looking up to, or anyone that you seen really stood out to you and you wanted to be just like them?
Reg Robidoux was one that really stood out. He was really quick, always had a good attitude. He knew how to work it, and he was just really good and really fun to play with.
Nice. Was he a defenseman, a forward, or a goalie? Did you pick his position? Okay, is that why you picked D, or you just always?
I've just always been a defense.
Okay, cool. Chad, you got another question for them?
Yeah, so I guess moving on to the next one. So with that being said, who is the one player that you despise playing against? So Zach, we'll start with you. If there's a player that, you know, over the years, whether it even be locally or just at nationals, anything, someone who you've always gone against and kind of developed that rivalry or that ultimate hatred, or, you know, if it's just on the ice, but leave it on the ice type thing, and after you have a beer with them or something. So
I think it's not so much as a despise, it's like a grudge match. Nathan Mazerat is one of the other ones that I play with all the time, and it's always fun being on opposite teams because you always have that grudge match of when either one of you are going up, and because we're both defense, it's always a battle to see who's gonna pull through and do that win. So it's always exciting playing against him and having that battle back and forth.
He's a great defense too. I played with him. He was on my Worlds team in 2018. I started out that tournament playing forward, but then I finished the tournament playing goalie after our goalie got hurt, and it was nice having him in front of me. So I can see why you can kind of get grudgy with him. Maddie, how about you? Is it one of those Thunder girls, or who is it?
No, honestly, I don't really despise anyone playing broomball, but you know what? You always find those good people, and they know how to handle the ball, and they really get under your skin when they're playing because you just can't get it from them and stuff. I mean, everyone's had those times where you just, you know, you get a little frustrated with them, but it's because they're good, and there's lots of good players out there that always challenge me, and you know, there's always the odd person, but nothing that I despise of anyone.
Well, I could say I didn't like coaching against you. So
yeah. If if we remove the word despise, and how about a grudge match? You got to give us a name. I'm not letting you get off without giving us a name.
Yeah. Who do you, when a game is about to start and you're playing against Thunder and you're like, oh damn, I hope blank isn't playing. I hope Blair or Jamie's not out there. Like, throw a name. Come on.
Well, I don't know. Well, if you're throwing names at me, I mean, I don't like playing against Jamie because she's way faster than me, and she always seems to be put on me, and I'm like, I can't keep up to her. Like this is impossible. No, there's always, and then Blair too. She's that scary defenseman. You don't want to go near her because I don't know, she'll rock my world.
Yeah, she can throw her body around, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. I try to avoid them as much as possible, but you know what? Sometimes you just look up and they're right there.
Yeah. Okay, so I know you guys didn't get to actually play there, but who do you think would have been one of the bigger threats to take the gold at the 2020 or 2021 Nationals? I was thinking definitely Thunder and Warriors, but you guys might have different thoughts. Zach, we'll start with you. Who were you scared to play against?
I think the biggest team I was more afraid of would be was the Kilsyth Flyers. They had a lot of older players on their team, even in 2019.
Yeah, they were a very big team. They were fast and big. Like looking at them, I was like, oh, these guys are all 25. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like they're all like aged out, like ready to be done. And then when we finished 2019 and you looked at like all the players on the team, it was like they're all only 19. Like they're same age as me, and I'm playing against them next year. It's like, really? It's like this team isn't gonna win? Come on.
Yeah, and rednecks. Big and fast.
They're a bunch of rednecks.
Oh, that's a
Maddie,
bad word.
I'm hoping myself then I would be a national champ, but I mean, you got to look out for Thunder, brownie points. No, but there's always those teams. It's really a toss up. There's so many good teams. But
yeah, when you get there, it can really be anybody. I mean, in one division, we had a 3-way tie in 2019 there.
Those mini games.
Yeah, once in a lifetime kind of thing. And 2021, 2021,
like the competition is getting tougher and tougher. Yeah, the competition seems to be getting tougher and tougher. The programs seem to be getting better and better. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I guess we kind of talked about it before. You guys are done with your juvenile career now. So, but do you plan on playing Broomball still for a while? And which team do you see yourself playing with in the next couple of years? Maddie, we'll start with you.
For sure, I'll keep Broomball as something that I do. Honestly, whoever wants to take me. It's been 2 years. I don't know if anyone really wants me anymore. Haven't done much anything really. But no, I hope to play for OSS and keep playing with them and go to a few more nationals and yeah.
Well, I think at least we're lucky that everyone's in the same boat. Like everyone's had 2 years off pretty much. I mean, I hope my teammates aren't watching, but I put on 20 pounds since COVID. So I don't know how fast I'm going to be when I get back out on the ice. Sorry if there's any lay boys watching, but get back.
I haven't been doing my runs recently, so I don't know how that's going to work on the ice.
Yeah, especially since it's been cold. At least during the summer, I was outside doing stuff, swimming, but winter with no Broomball, it's deadly. Zach, how about you? Are you going to be getting on the men's team, or?
I sure hope so. I like playing with the guys, and it's a really good experience. It's certainly a level up compared to juveniles, and it's a totally different kind of fun in that league.
For sure, it's. I mean, I had a lot of fun in juvenile, but going to all the adult tournaments, not just at like nationals, but like tournaments like Syracuse or Worlds and stuff like that, going as an adult, being able to go to the bar at every tournament is pretty fun. I mean, it's a good time. So I hope you guys stick with it for sure. But up until this point, what has been your best Broomball memory? whether as a team or just a personal experience? Maddie, we'll start with you.
So my favorite memory would have to be the mini games at nationals. I mean, I don't recommend those. It's kind of interesting, you know, going from thinking we were out to all of a sudden saying lace up the shoes, get back out there. We're playing some mini games, and not even knowing what mini games were. Only playing one period didn't seem right.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know the context of that, in 2019 there was a division that had a 3-way tie between Thunder, Terminators, and was it Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan, yeah.
Yeah,
you bet.
It was a 3-way tie, and they went through all the breakdowns of how like it would go goals for, goals against, and they couldn't get a tiebreaker, so we had to go play these 1-period games between the three of us, which really threw a wrench into the schedule. And it was the second time it happened ever. It was unheard of, and nobody really had. Nobody expected it because nobody had seen it, and it was a once in a lifetime experience. It was really cool. It kind of sucked that our girls got tired and stuff. It was kind of extra ice time, but it was different. And yeah, I can see why that was your favorite memory. It was cool as a coach. It was definitely nerve wracking, but it was cool for sure.
And that made everyone late for the banquet because these games went on, and then you had to go to a semifinal, and it was quite the day.
Yeah.
It was quite awesome for the spectators. It was very enjoyable to watch. I'll tell you that much. Sitting in the stands watching it, cheering on. Zach, yourself?
I think my favorite memory would be when we as Manitoba won bronze in Estevan. That was amazing, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great team to be with, and it was just a great year to play. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and that feeling of that you are top 3 of your division. So
yeah, and bronze is a good. I always prefer to win bronze than to lose and get silver.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you won a game. So who did you beat in that bronze medal game?
In the bronze medal game, we beat Saskatchewan. We beat Bruno.
Nice. That would have been a good game. Cool.
Yeah.
One more question for you guys, just because I'm curious. You guys playing out in your area? I know where I am, just near Ottawa. Starting this week, we get back to playing regular games, like, well, maximum 12 on a team, but with refs, non-contact broomball will be good. Are you guys able to get on the ice at all, or games, practices, nothing? Maddie, let's start with you.
Nope, I'm not doing anything. I haven't put my shoes on yet this year. There's nothing going on around here. Even like the like just like out for fun and stuff, like family tournaments and stuff like that. There's nothing this year.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Zach, tell me you're on the ice.
Not even a little. We got to play, I think, 1 or 2 practices in October, and since like November of last year, we've been shut down.
Wow, that sucks. I mean, it's what I'm hearing for a lot of. I know, Chad, you're in the same boat. You guys aren't playing there at all. I was pretty mad when we got shut down on Boxing Day. We got shut down until this week, but to hear that you guys haven't been on the ice at all, that's really unfortunate. So hopefully it's a leg up for Thunder and Warriors to have some practice before next year and get you guys a step behind us. So have you guys heard any talks as to when your arenas are going to open back up, or is this year just they said that's it? Like, is the ice out or is the ice in your arenas? Have you even heard?
I honestly have not heard. We kind of planned a practice a while ago, and that's when everything kind of got shut down. So I honestly haven't heard from anything. I mean, the team, we chat a little bit here and there, but nothing as to getting together to put the shoes on and go play.
Zach, is there ice in your arenas, or?
There was. I'm not sure if there is anymore. I know we had ice back in November and they were keeping the plant open just in case it did open up or anything like that. But as of whether there is or not now, I'm not sure at all. There's no real talk of opening it up. We just got basically opened up from like a code red. So now we can have 25% capacity in restaurants, and it's not just the essential items only to buy. So, I mean, that's good at least.
You can go out and buy some new shoes then. So.
Yeah, you can buy shoes.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got for you. Chad, anything?
No, I got nothing else. Thanks you guys very much for agreeing to be on the podcast with us and come and speaking with us. It was great to hear your stories, and I really hope you guys continue to play broomball, and hopefully we can grow this great sport. And make sure you talk to your friends and your siblings and make them play too.
Yeah, it's more than like it's almost certainly I won't be seeing you guys at a juvenile tournament again, but hopefully I'll be playing against you or watching you guys at some adult tournaments. So keep on playing. See you guys later.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one. See ya.
You guys